It will increase traffic, it will make air quality worse, and take tens of millions of dollars out of their pockets each year. Why on earth would we support this?
We are not going to sit by and allow more pollution to be put on children that we know are already suffering.
Well, talk about things that had not been properly researched. We're going to use the term cliff notes. That's right, folks, cliff notes. For the reason is, when it comes to situations like this, especially with the politics and trying to push new regulations, new laws and stuff like that, has all the research been done? Has it been properly done? Verified on that? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. We see this from the cannabis laws to the changes. You know, they want to get out of oil, and they want to push these battery-operated cars. And people in Chicago are learning that the hard way, that their Tesla is not working in this cold temperatures, because we already know batteries don't work well in low temperatures. If you have a Ring doorbell out there and you live in a territory in the United States where we have cold winters, you know your Ring doorbell tends to not work properly, or you have to charge it multiple times just to get a full charge back into it. But today we are going to discuss congestive pricing. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar, that this is happening in New York right now. Congestive pricing is basically a cash grab for the MTA and for the city of New York. And what it is that basically, when you look at the perspective of it, is that they're going to be putting these automatic toll booths, these toll devices actually, they're going to be overhead near where the light posts are. And if you're entering below a certain part of the city, which is below, I believe, 60th Street, if I'm not mistaken on that, you will be charged a congestive price to enter. In other words, a toll. For example, cars would be a 15 base for cars. Trucks will be $24 to $36. There'll be $1.25 surcharges on taxis. So if you're uptown, you want to take a cab to downtown, you're forced to take the subway. And $2.50 per trip charge for hired apps. In other words, for Uber and a couple of the other companies on there. But the thing about it is that, and the reason they're doing this, they said, well, it's going to clean up the air in the neighborhood, in New York. It's going to clean up the air in New York and keep everything nice and clean and clear, because all those vehicles, they cause so much congestion as far as the carbon, and we need to get rid of that. Here's the situation, and let's put it in bluntly. With this congestive pricing, is this going to help the entire city of New York? And I'm talking all 5 boroughs. Would that help as far as pollution? Fuck no. Okay? This is only alleviating a certain area of traffic through the city. It's not going to alleviate, because what had happened is, trucks and buses are going to divert. Guess where they're going to divert to? They're going to come through the Bronx and exit out and come back in through Staten Island, come up through the back end, because there's no congestive pricing at the tip of Manhattan. No, not down there, not at the end in near the ferry, near Wall Street and all that. There's no congestive pricing there. There's no congestive pricing in the Bronx. There's no congestive pricing in Staten Island, which leads us to this today.
According to a lawsuit filed today against the MTA and others, congestion pricing would inflict environmental and economic damage. The approvals were reached only after a rushed and hurried process, and is dependent upon a regressive and discriminatory pricing scheme that's unconstitutional. Among the plaintiffs, the city's teachers union and the residents of Staten Island.
It will increase traffic, it will make air quality worse, and take tens of millions of dollars out of their pockets each year. Why on earth would we support this?
The union claims teachers and students outside of Manhattan will suffer from worsening air quality as traffic is shifted elsewhere.
Back at the beginning of the year, a lawsuit was being filed by Staten Island for to stop this congestive pricing. Guess who teamed up with them? This is the one that I cannot, you're saying like, oh my God, I'm shocked. Ladies and gentlemen, the teachers union agrees with the politicians in Staten Island because this is going to cause issues. Not only because basically you have teachers that live up in the Bronx that have to come down into Manhattan, that they work in Manhattan, they're going to have to pay additional fees to get into Manhattan if they don't take the subway. Some might be, they might be in an area where the subways, they have to travel far to get to the subway, and there's no parking where they can leave. It's not like the Long Island Railroad in some places where, you can park and take the train. Taking the bus, it's going to cost you more money because there's going to be basically they're going to charge more to get into via the express buses. They claim that overnight it's going to be 75% over beginning at 9 p.m. Trucks come through a lot at that time period as well. But the thing about it is now they're going to be pushing all the traffic through Staten Island, into Jersey, through the Bronx. All that's going to come through there. I mean, it's already, we do have a problem here with trucks on Staten Island. That we have a lot of trucks that come here that's going into the city on this end. One of the major problems, and I'll tell you straight out, especially on Staten Island, we don't have a subway technically in Staten Island, even though we have one that goes all the way from the ferry, and I think it goes all the way down to Huguenot, if I'm not mistaken on that. That's just one train. We have another rail line that's sitting and has been falling apart it's for quite some time now. I mean, it can be repaired, and sections can be added onto it that'll lead into New Jersey and straight across the bridge into Brooklyn, which would alleviate a lot of traffic from the Staten Island ferry. See, the major problem is if you want to get people to use your transit, the MTA needs to fund projects that, they need to fix that they need to complete that Second Avenue line. They need to rebuild the infrastructure on Staten Island on that second line, get it into New Jersey, make a deal with New Jersey that we're able to get people in and out of New Jersey and in and out of Brooklyn. They can transfer into Brooklyn into other rail systems connected with the R train. In the end, that is possible for them to do. They just need to fund this properly. They're not, they say, well, we just want to get rid of the congestion. You're not going to get rid of most of the congestion. You have a lot of trucks. You need to get stuff into the city. You have tons of supermarkets, grocery stores. You have UPS, FedEx, US Mail. There are many things that are being shipped into New York. We are a busy city. That's what you have to understand. You're not going to, you may get rid of the auto part of it. You're never going to get rid of the truck traffic. The truck, it is essential for deliveries to get into the city. And they say, well, we can go battery. We know what happened with the battery operating in Chicago.
Oh, we got a bunch of dead robots out here.
Dead robots. Dead Teslas packed the parking lot at this Tesla supercharging station in Oak Brook, a scene mirrored in other supercharging stations around the Chicago area.
Man, this is crazy. It's a disaster, seriously.
With temperatures falling into the negative double digits, these charging ports have stopped charging, leaving many Tesla owners stranded here in long lines since Sunday.
Nothing, no juice, it's still on 0%. And this is like 3 hours this morning being out here. after being out here 8 hours yesterday.
Has it been charging?
No, not at all.
It just isn't working.
At all. It's just frozen, and so I'm getting it towed to the Tesla service center because that's my only option at this point.
You have to also put it to this perspective. Gas, oil, basically a lot of the vehicles, and especially cars these days, they're fuel efficient. They're a lot more. They burn more cleaner than previous ones, than some of the older vehicles out there. There are states that have eliminated inspections of cars on certain years because of the way that those cars are fixed these days. Only a certain year that basically they look at, and that's it. That's the only ones they'll continue to check. You get a lot of traffic. I used to work down Herald Square Way. That place is jam-packed with a lot of traffic. And, you have a lot of cabs going through there. You're going to hurt the cab industry as far as that, because that's going to be, they already pay enough as it is to the city of New York as far as licensing. A lot of the licensed cabs, the yellow cabs, they have their medallions. They got to pay, thousands and thousands of dollars, to keep that license going, and if they have to freaking pay more because of tolls and stuff like that, and the same thing with Uber and Lyft and many of the others, you're going to have major issues as far as transportation. Fund the right projects. Yes, the MTA needs to fix their systems. But here's another thing. Why are you buying all these electric buses? That's another thing. You're spending money on electric, and we talked about this before on another edition. Why are you spending on electric buses in New York City when it gets very cold? These buses, especially in the outer boroughs, are going to end up freezing and breaking down more often. And if people are in the middle of nowhere, you're going to have some issues. You're continuing to buy this city and municipalities and stuff like that. All these, the MTA, New York City itself, they're funneling their money in the wrong direction, and they do not know what the fuck they're doing. Honestly, $1,000 for a garbage can. Renting those RoboCops situation, which probably cost them thousands upon thousands of dollars. You don't need those. You need to fund yourself some more cops. You have last year you had a ton of cops resign from there. Have you replaced them yet? No, you haven't. Now you're scrambling to replace them. It continues on and on and on. And no offense, it's the liberals again. It is these liberal politicians. The Republicans are not out of the woods themselves. They don't push hard enough also. But it is these liberal agendas that happen throughout these liberal cities. As being a New Yorker, I've seen New York come from hell, rise better, and fall back into hell again. There was a time when it was, everything was clean and everything was going good in this city. But then you had some new politicians that came into there that didn't give a shit. That's just pocketing everything. And they said, well, don't blame us, blame Washington. No, we're blaming you. You were hired to maintain this city. But meanwhile, we're falling apart by the seams. You take kids out of their school, minority kids out of I think it was the high school, and then put illegal migrants in there because of the storm that came in, because you put them on a field that you couldn't put the stakes in, that people told you, do not tent them here, tent them elsewhere. And you could have used the Brooklyn Arena to hold them temporarily if it was just temporarily. Not shut down a school and say, well, we'll give them to home learning. Well, home learning didn't work. It didn't work. So now you're pushing them back to home learning again? This is another reason where the 1980s rolling back in again, and I said this when it comes to this issue with the illegal migrants, that the situation with the Cubans and the Haitian migrants, it affected the minority communities. The minority communities got screwed on there. And guess what? We're getting screwed again. And the MTA is screwing the minority communities, because basically what they're doing is basically sending all the pollution to our communities. Staten Island, parts of New Jersey, parts of the Bronx. This is what they're doing. They say, well, bring safer streets. Safer for who? Even lower Manhattan, the Battery. The pollution will increase there as well. You're only taking one segment of the city and just removing that pollution and moving it elsewhere. It's like taking homeless people that you said, well, we need to help the homeless people. Well, let's just move them to Staten Island. Let them handle it. This is the stupidity that's happening in our city right now. And it's got to stop. Next election, folks, pay attention. Who is running for office in the next election? We need to get this governor out. We need to get this mayor out, and some of the senators and representatives, because they are not doing the public right. So comment and let me know your thoughts about this. Have the MTA overstepped their bounds by doing this, screwing over Staten Island again, and the Bronx and New Jersey and who knows where else? Or are you okay with this? Are you okay that, we'll just get rid of the pollution and move it elsewhere? So don't forget to share this video, hit that like, and hopefully today's the day I earn your subscription. So until next time, thank you for tuning in, and breathe in, hopefully, because if you live on Staten Island, it'll be hard to breathe very soon. Bye-bye now.
Thanks for watching, commenting, and sharing this video. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe, as this helps the reach of this channel. Finally, as a content viewer, you have the ability to help support this channel, as new internet laws around the world will diminish our reach and affect our sponsors. If you choose to help, there are two ways listed in the description below. The first link will lead you to a pay site where you can make a monetary donation. The second will lead you to our gear shop, where you can buy shirts, mugs, and other gear. Discounts will be listed on the site. Once again, thank you for watching and your support.